Welcome back to Between Bells. Microsoft has announced new technology to help improve the future of hybrid work. Mesh for Microsoft Teams is committed to exploring breakthrough ways of connecting people, organizations, and ideas through a more immersive metaverse for business. For more on this, let's turn to our friend Ken Bufa. Hi, Ken.
That's right. Microsoft just had their big Ignite event, and they had a lot to announce. So right now, I want to be joined by Jared Spataro, Corporate Vice President, Microsoft 365. How you doing there, Jared? So my first question, probably the lead question, is what is the metaverse and why do we need it?
Well, it certainly is a topic of the day right now. We're hearing a lot about it. You know, from Microsoft's perspective, we think of the metaverse as a persistent digital world that has some connection to the physical world. And as I take a step back, there's been so much discussion on the metaverse as perhaps a social tool, maybe even an entertainment tool or technology. We think all those things are true, but we also think that there's real business value in the metaverse, again, as you connect it to the physical world and as it helps you to do business. So we have a pretty expansive vision for how we think about the opportunity ahead of us.
What opportunities does the metaverse allow for business to take advantage of? What are some gains that businesses can make if they incorporate a Microsoft metaverse like Mesh?
Well, I'll start with the most practical. Microsoft Teams has over 250 million monthly active users today. And one of the ways in which metaverse technologies will be incorporated is the addition of what we call avatars. They're almost cartoon characters that you can use to represent you. Now, that may seem a little far-fetched, but what we're finding in our research is today in a video type environment, you kind of have a binary choice. You choose whether your camera's on or your camera's off. But oftentimes when it's off, you still want to indicate that you're involved in the meeting. It's just not convenient. You might be in transit, for instance. So using avatars in our research has been a way for us to actually be able to indicate that people are engaged in a meeting. We've seen really good uptake of that in the what we call human factors lab that we've used to study it. The other way that we can do it is by creating what we call digital twins of actual physical places and using those digital twins to get work done. You might do a digital twin, for instance, of a factory. So there are some pretty useful and very valuable applications just immediately out of the gate for the metaverse technologies.
Now, when it comes to AR and VR technologies, usually you have to have some kind of external hardware or third-party hardware. Do you need any hardware additionally from just your webcam to access Mesh from Microsoft Teams?
The answer is no, and that's what we're really excited about. We think that Teams gives us this awesome entree, an on-ramp, if you will, to a very practical use of the metaverse. Again, thinking about all those users who are using Teams all throughout the day today. And so the way that we render the metaverse within Teams, starting with those avatars and then working into immersive digital spaces, is in 2D on the hardware and software that you use today. So you can immediately see those avatars. You can immediately begin to use those. Now you can add AR, so augmented reality, and VR, virtual reality, which is fully immersive, to have an even more immersive experience. But you can start with the device that you use today, and we think that provides a fantastic on-ramp.
So there's a few more announcements that were made today, and one of them is a new app called Loop. It kind of reminds me of like the Google Docs G Suite where everything's cloud-based. Tell me what Loop is from Microsoft and how that can change business as well.
Well, we think Loop really introduces a new paradigm as we think about what we call content creation. So traditionally, the content creation that's happened in a business setting has largely been focused on kind of the document, Word, Excel, PowerPoint as the standard formats. Loop breaks free of all that and creates a digital canvas on which you can put words, numbers, or diagrams. And then what we have created is a set of what we call Loop components that can be lifted off that canvas and put anywhere. You can put them in a Teams chat, you can put them in email, you can put them anywhere you get your work done, and when you work on them, they actually put the data right back into that original Loop canvas. So really, really new way to work together. We see this as part of this evolving front end of content creation, kind of a more fluid way to work together with people. And I'm excited, particularly personally, about the combination of Teams and Loop. I just think it is a killer combination as you think about kind of this new way of working together that's emerging as we tip into hybrid work.
Now, one of the other things that you announced is that Teams is getting essentially letting the gates open, letting other people use Teams as well who might not have it. So explain a little bit of what's going on there.
Well, from our perspective, you know, Teams is a technology that is transformative because it brings together what we call different communication modalities. So it is meet, chat, call, collaborate all together. And what we're trying to do is just make it available for everyone in the world. We have a consumer version that is available. We have been very focused on the business version. And our announcements today, whether it's Mesh or Loop or a whole bunch of things that we're doing around Teams, are just to make it available to everyone and to continue to add to its feature set so that it becomes the place, the way, the kind of underlying fabric that connects people as they're trying to get things done in all sorts of different situations.
So after watching the event, I could pretty much sum it up that the focus this year was collaboration. What kind of friction were you guys trying to alleviate when it comes to these new products, and what kind of openings are you creating as well?
The context, I think, is really important, Ken. The context here for us is hybrid work. And what that means for us is flexibility in how, when, and where you work. So if we look at the friction points, what we find is remote work is pretty easy. Everybody is in a video conference. Work on site, physical work, is pretty easy. We've been doing that now for decades. The question comes, when you try to put those two things together, how does it work? And you're exactly right. For us, collaboration really needs to focus on those friction points. It's going to be about bringing the physical and the digital worlds together. It's going to be about making content creation, digital content creation, easier than ever before. As we look at Loop as an example, it's breaking down those barriers that existed previously between, for instance, documents and document types. So we're just very consistently going through and looking for those friction points, trying to iron them out and really help us move into this new world of work that we call hybrid.
And my last question would be, when will all this be available? When can I make an avatar, go into the Mesh metaverse, and start having meetings?
Well, we have some customers that are already doing it today. We have a great case study out there with Accenture as an example, where they have used it to onboard 10,000 employees just over the last couple of months. But generally available in a preview form, the date for that is the first half of next calendar year. And the same with Loop. We'll be looking at previews available in the first half of next calendar year as well.
All right, Jared Spataro, Corporate Vice President, Microsoft 365. Sir, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for introducing me to all these new products. They seem pretty fun.